FoodtokTV, this is Taylor Rose, also known as the Mustard Queen, and welcome to a special episode of Cutting the Mustard. I am filling in for Michelle today, and so I haven't been doing my own show since my husband and I started doing the tailgate on Saturday mornings at 10:30 a.m. But here I am doing my own show again, so y'all welcome in. Today I am going to be making kind of a little party appetizer. It is called vol au vent. Vol au vent is what it's called. It's a French word. It means fly to the wind, essentially. But it is a puff pastry cup, and then you can fill it with whatever stuff you want on the inside of it. It can be sweet, it can be savory. I'm going the savory route today. So, vol au vent. I'm gonna be doing a shrimp and a bacon vol au vent. I just have so much fun saying that. So y'all, please be tapping those screens, and thank you so much for being here. Let's get started. I am doing some shrimp. I did start with, I gotta get a bowl to brine my shrimp. I started out thawing my shrimp earlier, and it's not perfectly thawed, but it's fine. I'm going to be doing a wet brine for this, so that will absolutely be okay. Thank y'all so much for joining. Please be tapping those screens. I have some water on my kettle real quick that I am going to simmer. And I am going to be doing a saltwater brine with a little bit of sugar in here. Pretty salty water. The salt is definitely going to help plump up the shrimp because I will be poaching these later. And a little bit of sugar is also going to assist. And it'll bring out those beautiful flavors of the shrimp. Maybe just a little bit more sugar. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Welcome to FoodtokTV. We do live cooking shows on the daily. My name's Taylor Rose. I'm typically on Saturday mornings at 10:30 a.m., but doing a little bonus show for y'all today. So let's get to it. Let me know if y'all are planning on making any sort of holiday appetizers or anything this season, because this is kind of what the intent is for the vol au vent. Vol au vent. Alrighty. Some hot water from my kettle. I think I might need just a bit more salt. No, I don't apparently. Oh, there's the salt. So I know sometimes it's very weird to look at French words and have no idea how to pronounce them. Like, I took a semester of French in college. That's really all the French that I know. Hey Benjamin, welcome in. So I don't really know a whole ton of French, but one thing I do remember from my semester of French in college was how to pronounce French words. I mean, first of all, it's a very nasally language. And then also, they don't pronounce the last consonant in words unless it's the same consonant that's in the word careful. So C, R, F, and L, they do pronounce it at the end. So that's why we say vol au vent. I don't know if that's something any of y'all knew. If y'all know any French, let me know in the comments as well. I know that. I know omelette de fromage, and I'm pretty sure I just aged myself there. And then I also know je ne sais pas, which means I don't know. And that's pretty much the most useful phrase, I think. Okay. So now that everything is dissolved in here, I don't want to put I don't want to put shrimp in hot water. So I am going to chill it a bit. You know what? I'm going to switch things. Just because I know that if I do it carefully, it's not going to break the glass, but I never want to be put in that situation of adding hot and cold to a glass real quick. Because I know that if it can happen, it's going to happen on a live show. You know what I mean? I know French fry, which, by the way, French fry, it's not really French. It's just talking about the French preparation of it, which is frying in a large amount of fat. So we're going to I'm going to throw a little ice in there. Just a wee bit of ice. I'm overflowing here, and I'm going to let my shrimp sit there for 10-15 minutes, or at least until I'm done with my puff pastry. So the puff pastry dish that I am doing, I'm washing my hands real quick because, you know, I was near raw seafood. But the puff pastry dish that I am doing, the vol au vent, it's essentially just puff pastry, but it's like puff pastry cups, and you can absolutely buy the cups already made in the freezer section, but you get a lot more puff pastry if you just make your own. And so we're gonna give that a try today. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Food Talk TV. And so we are going to get started with our puff pastry. Now, puff pastry, this is definitely something I would prefer to purchase rather than try and make, because it's very similar to a pie crust. However, you have to laminate it, meaning you have to just like fold it, roll it out over and over and over again. And the beauty of puff pastry is that there's just a large amount of butter in here. And so as it cooks, the butter is going to steam, and then it's going to create like air pockets. And that's how the puff pastry becomes puffy. So I'm gonna flour my surface a little bit. Oh, perfect. I have the right amount of flour for this. I do have another bag, I just haven't opened that yet. That should do, that should do. Thank you so much for liking the live. I appreciate y'all being here and tapping those screens. If you're new to Food Talk TV, we do live cooking shows daily. There's a variety of creators on here, and so everyone has their own expertise, their own things that they're really into, so we're definitely worth the follow if you haven't seen us or followed us before. So if this is the first time we're showing up on your feed, just let me know. Hello from Boston. Hello, I am in Nashville. Welcome in, welcome in. And I'm gonna get started. So the vol au vent, as I say, it is the puff pastry that's kind of made into cups. Now, traditionally, they are about like this big, and so it's almost like a fork and knife deal. There's also some cultures that will have like a dinner plate size of this, but I'm thinking, you know, if I'm bringing this for guests or if I'm doing an event, I definitely want them to be like tinier. So these are the little cookie cutters I got. I'm so excited about these cookie cutters. Just got those. There is a link in our page if you want to get some for yourself. It was very inexpensive for what they were. I think I'm gonna go with, I want these to be a bit more bite size. So on the lid it says it is, okay, so 5 centimeters. So we're gonna just start cutting up some 5 centimeter circles. There we go. Hello, welcome in, and oh, thank you for the follow, Angel Kiss. Thank you so much for being here. I think these will be tiny enough. Maybe it will be like a bite size, but like you're still shoving your face in it. Let's see if I can make some a little bit smaller too. Let's give the tinier ones a try. And if you're just walking in, vol au vent is what I'm making. French puff pastry cups, and you can fill it with whatever you want. You can make it a dessert with something with fruit or chocolate or frosting or whatever. Or in my case, I'm going the savory route, and I am doing shrimp and bacon filling in here. I think this will be a really impressive dish that kind of looks like you know what you're doing, and you don't really have to know what you're doing. Now, you can absolutely buy puff pastry cups already made, but they're typically more expensive than just the sheets of puff pastry. Then you can't really control the size of them either. There we go. Oh, this is going swimmingly. I love these cookie cutters. Lavelle, thank you for the follow. So I don't think I'm going to put sesame seeds on here. I am going to brush it with an egg wash and let it chill in the refrigerator, because in order for puff pastry to work, it has to be super cold when it goes into the oven. And then also you got to have your oven on at a high heat. And you know, sesame seeds would absolutely be a good idea. Like, especially I saw someone make it where there was cream cheese and dill, and they filled that in there and then topped it with raw salmon. That looked like a beautiful idea. I feel like everything but the bagel seasoning would be great on that. I am going with an egg wash that I'm going to put some mustard in there, because I am the mustard queen and I find excuses to throw mustard in everything. So we are cutting some puff pastry. This is the tedious part. I'm excited to give this a try. I've made vol au vent before, but it was definitely like a regular size, and I just used a mason jar to make my circles. And so I just really wanted more of a bite-size rendition of this. Little more party appetizer. And plus, I have a lot less puff pastry scraps to go with after. Do, 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 I got puff pastry. Do, 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 how about you? Yeah, I'm liking these tiny ones. Like, I feel like this would be a little uncomfortable, like to, I guess it would be a 2-biter. This one would be a shoving your face with a 1-biter. Ooh, you used to make apple strudel. Like apple strudel vol au vent, because I feel like that would be really tasty. But apple streusel anyway, like that's perfect for this time. And user 4522, thank you for the follow as well. Isn't twisting the cookie cutters sealing the laminated edges? I'll try to do it without doing that. I'm not so sure. I guess the twisting part is really the only way I'm able to let loose with this. Do, do, do. I was also looking up last night when I decided I was going to make this. I was looking up ways to use the leftover puff pastry scraps. And there were some people that would just take the scraps and then just re-roll it out and cut out more of these. And then there were people who would just brush them with milk and then toss with cinnamon sugar and kind of make little weirdly shaped little crisps. So I might give that a try. Uh-oh. Alrighty, got those circles cut. And so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to have this circle here, but then I'm going to put other circles over the top of that. Hello, hello, y'all, welcome in, and y'all already to 4K likes. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate you. We have the best audience members on Food Talk TV. Y'all are great. Okay. And y'all, we have Red Wagon Bakery in the comments. She's usually here on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. But I am filling in with her for her today. It was her first day at her job, so let me know how that went for you. I'd love to hear that. We also have Trini over here in the comments as well. She goes on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central, and that used to be my slot. I had that slot for well over a year, so it's kind of nice to come back and be doing this, because whenever I'm on the tailgate with my husband on Saturday mornings, you know, we cook, we have a good time, we enjoy ourselves and all the cooking that we do. However, I don't really talk so much about technique, so it's a lot of fun to be back here with that. Do lots of circles. And you know, when you make these, you can actually cut these circles out and make the shapes, and before baking them you can just save that, or you can also bake them and then save those as well. They last in the fridge 2 to 3 days before you're ready to fill your filling, because you don't want to fill these until right before you serve them, because you don't want the puff pastry to get soggy. Okay, so with this one I am going to use this is the larger one that I did, and so this one's the next size down. So I'm gonna push in the center here. Oh, that did not cut as beautifully as I wanted, but it is okay. So that's what it's gonna look like. Now, when this bakes though, I'm gonna put it in the freezer before I bake it, but it's going to be all nice and puffy. And then we're also gonna bake the other like center guys too, so we can give them little hats. And y'all, if you are unfamiliar with my content, I am known as the mustard queen on this app. I post content about mustard. Sometimes I talk about all my years of bartending and all that. I'm kind of a food science nerd. And then once I'm done dealing with this, I will comment what my name is, but you can find me just by searching for Mustard Queen on this app. That's all you gotta do. But my handle is ketchupisgarbage, and people have thoughts about that. Oh, thank you for the follow. Mystic followed us. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome to FoodtokTV. We appreciate having more fans out there for us. We have been going live every single day since 2021, and we're not stopping anytime soon. Oh yeah. I saw some recipes where when they were doing this, they actually did 2 rims for the top. I guess it helps go up taller. You know, I actually skipped an important step here. Hold on. So as I've been saying, that when the puff pastry, when it puffs, it's gonna increase a lot in size. So in order to prevent that, we are just kind of gonna like stab the bottom part with the fork so it doesn't puff up so much. Because really, the part that we want to puff up is gonna be the outside here. Oh, there we go. But since I've already done these guys, I'm just gonna there we go. I saw another recipe, and I'm not sure how much I believe that this is gonna work, that just did like a little indentation and didn't do any sort of layering. They just indented it with the cookie cutter like that, and then they kind of just poked around the inside of it. So I'll do one of those to see if it works. Because I feel like if that does work, that would save us a lot of time. A lot of time. Kumu, thank you for the follow. And Kim, thank you for the follow. We appreciate y'all being here. Y'all be sure you tune in tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. That will be Cooking with Fatherpreneur. Benjamin, he goes live on his own page a lot. He will be on at noon Central. And then we have Trini, who is going to be on 7 p.m. Central. Oh yeah. This is definitely a nice little tedious activity that you can be doing. If you're the type of person that likes making things out of clay and stuff, this is a lot of fun. I also really wish I had parchment paper, but I did not think to get parchment paper before this, so we're gonna see how nonstick this is, but I'll add a little bit of foil just in case. Thank y'all so much for being here. Have you ever had this appetizer before? Let me know in the comments. It's called the, I'm gonna pull it out again, vol au vent. And it's essentially puff pastry cups that you can fill with whatever you want. Oh, there we go. You can make it sweet, you can make it savory. I'm gonna be going the savory route with shrimp and bacon. I'll go ahead and get my egg wash ready too. Oh, that's what I was getting. Egg wash, I'm going to do a little splash of water in here just to thin that out. And with my egg washes, I love doing, I'm the mustard queen, so of course I like a little bit of mustard in there. I like this whole grain mustard that I got from Aldi, and it's gonna kind of, I love the whole grain mustard in recipes just so you can like see the mustard, and if you can like see flavors of stuff, it makes it taste better. You can also add hot sauce and stuff in here too. But even when I'm battering and frying my foods, I will add mustard to the egg because free flavor. Free flavor. So I'm going to give this a try with brushing the egg wash over the top here, adding my little rim here to it, brushing that. I need a sous chef in here. My husband's usually cooking with me on lives that I do, so it's been a while since I've done a live without him. So I miss having my sous chef. How dare that man work and support us? Rude. Oh yeah, maybe the egg wash on here was a mistake. I think I will just continue how I was going. So, making these little puff pastries, taking my bottom one, using a fork to make sure it doesn't puff up so much, making some indentions there. Then adding the little rim here, because I really want the sides of this to puff up. We're going to do 2 rims of each ones. My largest circle is going to be 5 centimeters, and then the second to large one is 4.2 centimeters. The inches, it's like 1.9 inches and 1.6 inches. Oh, thank you, Tranny, for the gift. I appreciate you. Y'all, and I appreciate all the taps that you're giving us too, and the shares. If you're having a good time here, I am sure your friends would as well. So that really helps Al Gore with his rhythm. And I'm super serial about that. If you know, you know. All right. You definitely want to bake these as well because these will also puff up, and you can either use them as hats or you can even have them as a separate ordeal. Little chef snack, if you will. So fork, do. Go. And if you are new to Food Talk TV, welcome in. Let me know in the comments if you're new to Food Talk TV. We do live cooking shows on the daily with a variety of creators. Monday through Friday, we usually have 2 shows a day. On Saturdays, it's me and my husband, and we often do it in separate parts, so we're pretty much 2 shows a day. And then Sunday night, we have Sunday Night Live, which is the longest running cooking show on live cooking show on Food Talk, or that on TikTok. That's a mouthful. I'm gonna try what this one recipe said to do and just like put a little indent. I'm gonna try these with a couple of them because I really want that to work because this is tedious. So part of the fun of cooking is being able to experiment. And I definitely wanted to experiment with this recipe before I just brought it to the holidays. Y'all, I'm such a procrastinator when it comes to holiday food. Like, I'm typically still cooking at right before. I'm usually cooking when I'm supposed to be at a place. But I've never had complaints about my food, so I'm fine with it. Okay, I think I'll do a couple more and then I'll just throw whatever I haven't used in with the scraps. Because this is a tedious task and I'm sure it's not the most exciting thing I will be making today. I mean, I hope it's not the most exciting thing I'm making today. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna need another tray. Oh dear, now I got the I'm not comfortable using this in public tray. You know the type, the one that, you know, it is absolutely clean, but it doesn't look clean. It just means your pan is well loved. That's all it means. When we're putting these on the baking sheet like this, we're definitely going to want to make sure they space apart because, as I said, puff pastry likes to expand. And so we do not want them in contact with each other. But these are going to make great chef snacks. Do. Okay, almost there, y'all. Almost there. And then we can get in with the shrimp and the bacon filling that we're going to put in these guys. I'm excited to see how these will turn out. I saw other people online that tried making them and they always looked a bit wonky, and oftentimes they will look wonky because people don't do this like poking the bottom of it with the fork, because when it puffs up it's going to, you know, there's going to be a lot of air in there, so it might be like a lopsided kind of ordeal. But oh well, I think I'm pretty much done. I'm on my last one. Yay. Typically when I make these, they're larger ordeals, like something that's going to be like a circle like this, but I wanted something more of an appetizer feel rather than a meal course. Like something that's going to be like a circle like this, but I wanted something more of an appetizer feel rather than a meal course. I wanted finger food for this, not something that you eat with a fork and knife. Oftentimes with savory applications of this, people will make some sort of bechamel or Mornay sauce to go in here. I'm going to kind of keep it easy with shrimp and bacon and cream cheese. It'll be good, y'all. Trust me. I mean, you have to. It's not like you guys are going to be eating any of this. Okay, so let's get this coated in egg wash. If y'all are just joining us, welcome in. Today I am making vol au vent. Vol au vent. It is a French word meaning flight of the wind, but it's essentially a puff pastry cup filled with, you can make it sweet or savory. Loading this up with the egg wash, I added a splash of water and some whole grain mustard in here. Honestly, not enough mustard. I want people to see the mustard. I want them to know there's flavor in here. Because if something looks like it has flavor, it's just going to taste better. Kind of why paprika gets added to stuff. There we go. Brushing with the egg wash, make them nice and crispy. Or as Benjamin would say, golden brown and delicious, GBD. So as soon as I'm done with the egg wash on here, this is gonna go in the fridge at least 15-20 minutes because we wanna make sure the dough is super cold. So that way, when we put it in a high heat oven, the water in the butter is gonna evaporate before the butter has a chance to melt, and that evaporation is what's gonna make it puffy. Oh dear, I did not leave myself room in my fridge. There we go. I just got groceries, so I am loaded up on groceries. I think I'm gonna fit one of these in my freezer if I have space for that too. Cause y'all, I never have freezer space. I like to put so much stuff in my freezer. I feel like yeah, the real estate in my freezer is pretty serious. It's a cutthroat business. Switching phones, you have 1%. Okay. I'll see ya. Oh man, I can't believe it's already 4:36. Like, I felt like that was a lot of work to get these puff pastry cups, but you know what? Anything to save $1 over here, because it was like $4 to get just 6 puff pastry cups already made. I mean, they were like this large too, and plus it's just so much fancier. Fancier for you to say like, oh yeah, I made that. I made the cups, you know. And if they look a little rustic, people will know you made it and not just, you know, bought them. But, you know, honestly, sometimes, you know, your time is worth just as much as your dollar. But I also wanted these to be bite-sized. They also sell, like, little phyllo dough shells. But you can't say that you're making, you know, the fancy vol au vent if you buy the shells. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if I have. Oh, there's my bacon. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Maybe? Nope. Fail. That sucks. There goes all my dairy products. It's okay. Gotta play refrigerator Jenga over here. We're good. Gonna wash up real quick. Daphne, thank you for the chili. Welcome in, Daphne. I'm washing my hands real quick. I do have these scraps that I balled up. You can absolutely roll this out and make more of these, or you can save it for another use. I'm just gonna stick it in my fridge and save it for another use. You can also cut them up into shapes and just put some egg wash and cinnamon sugar and just make little cinnamon sugar bites, or even everything bagel seasoning as well into these. So yeah, use all that puff pastry. Okay. Clean up, clean up. Everybody, everywhere. Love having the silicone mat for this reason. All right, time to reset. I do need a walk-in. You are absolutely correct. My pantry is pretty much my walk-in, so I wish that was refrigerator, but oh man, a walk-in fridge would be my dream. Absolutely. So, next thing I'm going to be working on, I was hoping to have my bacon, or getting ready to use my bacon earlier. Whenever I have to cut it into strips, whenever I cut my bacon into thin strips, I like sticking it in the freezer, maybe like 10 minutes before I'm ready to cut it. I don't want it frozen, but it makes it easier to dice up. Mine has been in there for like 40 minutes. Whoops. So it's not frozen, but it is going to make the chopping it up a bit easier. Hey Michael, what's up? Welcome in. I'm doing pretty good. You doing all right today? So, not my favorite brand of bacon, but it was what was on sale. And you know, sometimes what's on sale is the best of anything. So let's do, oh, that's like 5 strips of bacon. Why did I do that? Benjamin just posted a 10-second cooking school about this too on FoodtokTV. 10-second cooking school is kind of like the, you know, chef tips and tricks, or like things that we do that really help us out. And he said that whenever he does raw food, he'll have a clean hand and a dirty hand. And I watched that a few minutes before I went on, and I still continue to just make both my hands raw bacon. Grandma, hello there. Oh, there we go. And here I am making both my hands raw again. So I am going to be chopping up this bacon pretty finely, but I can always crumble it more. My cutting board is sliding, so I am going to throw a little rag underneath. Come on, be easier, my friend. Come on, be easy on me. Okay, there we go. That way it's not going to slide so much. If I had to put a bit more forethought, it would be a neater laying of it, but now it's not sliding. Alright. I do want the bacon fairly small. It is going to shrink as it cooks, but because my cups are going to be so small for my vol au vent, then I want everything that I chop to also be small. I was trying to think of what kind of filling I was going to use for this, and who doesn't like bacon? And also, I always keep shrimp in my freezer because, you know, it lasts forever in the freezer. And it's always nice to just be able to whip it out. Hey, butthead. I'm talking to my cat, not you guys. Sharp scissors work better. Ooh, you know, I do have some shears. I am almost done, so I'm not going to be doing that, but it is a bit easier. I have better luck when I have like a thicker, higher quality bacon, but you know, this is the on sale bacon, but shears would have been a good idea, yeah. The freezer and keeping it firm absolutely helps too. It's really cutting through the fat is what's making it. That's so fun. Okay. So I'm just going to... I keep thinking I'm done and then deciding I'm not. Story of my life. Story of my life. And like this part of my knife is definitely sharper than this part, so whenever I've been cutting with this part of the knife, it works better. There we go. All right. I'm throwing it in my cast iron, but I'm throwing it on cold. Like my pan's warm, I haven't even warmed it up at all. Oh dear. Gotta wash this raw meat off my hands. Oh, thank you for the heart, me. Well, goes hello. Oh, no, it's okay. No, I love it. I have learned so many things from my comment section. No, not at all. I love it. There's so many times where I have actually adjusted because someone did, or someone mentioned something in my comments, and there have been times where I've been able to correct people on it. It's like, well, actually, so no, I appreciate it. You know, and I'm not a professional chef or anything. My experience working in food and beverage has been a bartender point of view, so. Alrighty. What butthead? So, I'm gonna start the bacon. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's get it started. What up, Sean? Welcome in. Yeah, never too old to learn. Absolutely. There we go. So let's watch this bacon. I am also going to get my other cutting board and devein my shrimp because I haven't done that yet. Typically, I don't like to devein shrimp when I'm on live. And so, okay, real quick, while we're waiting on this to get started, this was a brine that I had made. It's very heavy on the salt, a little bit of sugar. I added some hot water to it so that way that would dissolve, and then filled it up with cold water. And so, I don't think I ever have luck deveining my shrimp this way. Wait a minute. Okay. Where they'll like poke through the bottom and be able to pull it out. I've seen a couple of videos on people doing that, but honestly, I think they threw out all the takes where it wasn't so easy. Huh? I do want the shells in there. I'm going to be poaching the shrimp, so the shells are going to add flavor. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, getting a paring knife. Toothpick trick does not work for me. So we are getting this bacon started. I like to start it in a cold pan because when you do a low and slow on the bacon, you render out more of the fat, and you're going to get a crispier bacon that way. All right. Whew. But definitely when you're deveining shrimp, having a paper towel nearby so that way you can just like pluck the, you know, vein. Pull it out. I know, right? Sean, you're always there for it. Yeah, I've never had luck with this toothpick one. I was even looking at a video of someone that just made it look so easy, like pulling the cord. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the way charcoal is sold in bags, but they have the bag where like you just pull the string in order to open it, and it's one of the most satisfying things. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. This is not typically an activity I like doing in lives just because it's tedious, but I have been tedious all day with that puff pastry, so I think we're gonna be fine. And it's just 6 shrimp, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm trying to keep the integrity of the shell as much as I can. I try to buy frozen shrimp that has the shell and the tail on, but also deveined at the same time. And that is such a tough ask, but for me, buying shrimp that's already deveined is just a huge saver. Like, there have been times I've actually foregone having the tail just so I wouldn't have to devein. But because I am doing this in a large kind of dish, I'm not, there we go. Yes, that was satisfying. Because this is going to be a bunch of other stuff. Like if I were doing this for a dip as well, I'm not going to need too much of this. So it's going to be a filling, so it's not too terribly much. Now, if you're doing this to make cocktail shrimp, you definitely have to keep the tail for cocktail shrimp. So if you can try to find tail on but deveined, I would do that. Would tweezers work? You know, they make devices too for this, so I wonder if tweezers would work, but I don't have any tweezers I would be willing to sacrifice for my shrimp. I'm going with a toothpick, but toothpick or paring knife tends to be the one. They do have specialty tools for the deveining of shrimp, but it kind of looks more like tweezer scissors. But I think next time I'm absolutely going to try the tweezers. Because you're right, and I am a huge fan of using tweezers. I'm the type of person that has car tweezers, bedroom tweezers. I don't specifically have shrimp tweezers yet. Please don't say cocktail, I'm really trying. I feel ya. Oh, that one is right up top. Ah, there we go. That one's right up at the front. Okay, washing my hands, because, you know, raw seafood. Oh. Y'all, I remember in 2020 it was a requirement, even for front of house workers, to always be wearing gloves as well. But it's so difficult to put on gloves on your hands when you're constantly washing your hands, because it's so difficult to put on wet hands. And so for me personally, I don't like using gloves just because it kind of gives you the sense of a false security with that, and so you're gonna wash your hands less. So when I'm in the kitchen, if I can't remember how long ago I washed my hands, it's time for me to wash my hands again, and I wash them very frequently. So we are going to let this render, get this nice and crispy. Bacon! I mean, bacon is just perfect for just about anything. So I like to do a low and slow with the bacon so that way I can get as much of the fat out as possible. Now with this dish, because I am going to be baking the puff pastry as well, it's not a bad thing to, it wouldn't be a bad thing to just bake the oven in the bake the bacon in the oven. There you go. And that is a really easy way of doing it. Whenever I bake bacon in the oven, I don't even set a timer. I just go to check on it when I start smelling bacon. And in 2020, that's how I learned I was sick, because I actually let bacon burn. So that's funny. Put powder on your hands first. Okay, so if you are just tuning in, I am working on bacon and I'm going to be poaching shrimp in a few minutes. So that way I am going to be making an appetizer. It's a French appetizer. I'm making mini versions of this, but it's called vol au vent. Vol au vent. And if you did not hear my explanation earlier on how to pronounce French words, you never really pronounce the last consonant of a word unless it's also a consonant in the word careful. So C, R, F, and L. So this L gets pronounced in French, but this T does not. You have to be careful about pronouncing your consonants. And it's also a very nasally language, and it takes some time to like get the in there. So vol au vent, and it literally translates to flight of the wind. Oh yeah, not being able to taste, that was absolutely the worst for me. And I was so upset too, because like I was, no, this happened in 2022. Yeah, I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell until 2022, and I lost that for a bit. But I was in the middle of doing a series of tastings for bourbon on my page, because I'm a professional, or I was a professional bartender. Oh yeah. It's bacon! Like the Duke. So yes, the vol au vent. Let me know if y'all know any words in French, because I took a semester of French in college and I don't really recall a whole ton of it. I know how to pronounce words just by reading them. I also know omelette du fromage. That's definitely going to tell you I grew up in the 90s. If you know, you know. And then I also know je ne sais pas, which means I don't know. And the reason why that saying has stuck in my brain for so long, first of all, it's a very useful French word to know. You know, I don't know. Anytime anyone's asking you something in French and you say je ne sais pas, then you're like, oh, okay. I don't need to be asking you anything. But the reason why was I fell asleep in my French class, and this is one of those professors that liked calling on people that fell asleep, and so she was just reading phrases out loud and called on me, and so I just barely woke up. She said the je ne sais pas, and I just barely woke up, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, correct, correct. Good job, Taylor. Yeah. French was a very weird language to take after taking like 6 years of Spanish. But I am grateful that I know how to read things in French, or at least pronounce it. Omelette du fromage. How much bacon? So this is 5 strips of bacon that I did. Not my favorite type of bacon, but ruh-roh. This is a dangerous game to play here. Even though I had my hair up, still got a hair in there. Which is actually not the worst thing ever. Like, hair doesn't inherently like carry anything. Like, of course, you know, some people do have like scalp disorders or whatever, but hair isn't inherently that gross. It's just started as propaganda in the 1920s, because when women started wearing the Irene Castle bob, the super short haircut, you know, the hairnet industry just was failing, because none of the women were buying hair nets to keep their curls up anymore. So they had to figure out a way to sell hair nets to the masses. Your social studies teacher didn't care if you slept. Man, that's awesome. I wish I had that. So I'm frying up some bacon right now. I'm going to be working on a shrimp and bacon filling for my vol au vent. Vol au vent. I love the fact that I printed this out, and I did use my Cricut so I could do it in reverse, because like, so to me it's backwards, but vol au vent, it's a French appetizer that is, or it could be a dessert, either way too. A lot of times they're served like in things this big, but it's essentially a puff pastry cup filled with whatever. Anyone frozen? Oh no. I hope y'all are not frozen. But you know, this is taking a bit longer than I thought it would, just because, you know, with that puff pastry, it was tedious work. So I was thinking about restarting and starting back up, because on FoodtokTV, all of our shows are an hour long. So if you're not already following us, please be sure you're giving us a follow and hit the bell for when I leave and come. I'll immediately come right back. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So yes, they do sell the puff pastry cups already made, but you don't really get to control the size on there. I was able to control my size because I got this like cute little cookie cutter set, and so I was able to pick my size that I wanted for that. Oh, so excited about that. I know I've been known for 3-hour lives. Absolutely, absolutely. But if I separate it into 2 separate lives, then, you know, it's fine, because I just did 2 shows. Oh yes, gotta love me some bacon. There you go. Voulez-vous me? Voulez-vous moi? Laissez-les manger. Du gâteau. Oh, Ryan's at work. So this is my first show I have done in so many months without Ryan. So super weird. Oh yeah, see how much bacon fat I am getting from this? I'm getting so much bacon fat in here, and I really attribute that to starting with a cold pan and letting it go low and slow. Like for me, the longer it takes for you to fry up your bacon, like I have once spent well over an hour frying up bacon so that way I could render as much fat as possible. And the reason why I did that was because I was making a bacon fat mayonnaise. Now, the structure in animal fat is different than in plant fats. And so it's difficult to make mayo with that, homemade mayo with that. So you do have to cut it with the vegetable oil. So it was like half bacon fat, half vegetable oil. But y'all, that was some of the best mayo I've ever made. Oh yes, I'm definitely more of a floppy bacon, usually, but whenever it's in bits, it's gotta be crispy. Oh. Aw, thanks. Oh, that's let him eat cake, I love it. Ryan doesn't work, he's in the basement locked up anyway. Doing secret work. Yeah, I know. I thought it was really rude of him to, you know, go out and support our family, you know, while I'm just over here cooking on the internet. But, you know, to each their own, I guess. Love that. am going to keep some of the bacon fat in here because I'm going to be cooking some onions and garlic and peppers. That's also going to go in this filling. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this off. Ah, oh, nice and crispy bacon. Love it. So y'all, I am going to restart just so I can have a full another live. I appreciate y'all hanging out in here. Yes, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Let me know. I just have so much more to do because even though technically this is something that can be made in about 40 minutes, I've just been talking about technique and a lot of it during that. So I'm going to restart, but when I come back, we are going to learn the best way to poach shrimp. We're also going to be cutting up some of the onion or the shallot, garlic, and pepper that's going to go into our filling as well. We will bake our puff pastry, and I should go ahead and preheat my oven for that. I always store stuff in my oven, so I gotta make sure I didn't store anything in there. But yeah, okay, I am going to restart. If y'all are not following, please be sure you follow. Hi, welcome in. I appreciate y'all. So yes, be sure you're giving FoodtokTV a follow. I'm just gonna reset. Give me like 5 minutes and I will be right back, okay? Alrighty, I'll see y'all later. See you soon. We will finish up the vol au vent. Happy mustarding.